I'm gonna have you do something else. Oh, wow, this is cool. It works. Hello? Talking to myself. It works. Hello? Talking to myself.
Just an FYI, our backups are not properly replicating to Azure. There's a problem on the Azure server, seems to be related to the fact that we deleted a huge chunk of CompuLink and stuff off of it when we redid it, and then File 1 stuff off when we redid it. And it's not properly purging the database, so it thinks it's got more data than it's supposed to have. So anyway, because of that, it doesn't see that it has free space in the repository, and so when it tries to push other backups up there, it's failing. So we got them here, and over in the AV booth, but they're not being pushed up to Azure.
So how do we do that?
Huh?
How do we fix it?
I'm gonna have to open it. Well, I'm running a check on the repository right now, and then I found some other stuff that says, contact support. There's a background process that has to complete before those things, before it reflects the stuff properly, and it can be interrupted by things. And anyway, so it says if this happens to you, call support.
But it's our server at Azure, our
Yes.
replay server at Azure that's not seeing the dump.
Yeah, it's got a repository where it holds all the data, and yeah, we deleted a bunch of old data out of it, and it hasn't shrunk the database down.
It still has it.
It still has it.
Yeah, it hasn't, kind of like those SQL logs.
Yeah.
If it doesn't see the command, it deletes it, it keeps them.
It keeps them. Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to give you a heads up that we're not getting replication right now.
Okay. I'm just gonna have Mark give us a call, because we really need to get this, let's just call him real quick and get this over with. I don't know if he's here today. Hey, are you here today?
Yep.
Hey, a question. I got Bill in the office,
Mm-hmm.
and that sandbox CompuLink at Azure.
Yeah.
It looks like I forgot why, and Bill, I'm sure could tell us why, but I think he has it working if we just allow remote desktop.
Well, there's a workaround that Mark can, if we want to set it to use the workaround, then it won't have, it could only be accessed via direct remote access and not through the remote app, and so the experience would be different. So the question is would that be acceptable? Do we want to try that, or do I need to start working on building a domain up there?
Well, what else would we use a domain for? We did
Well, in the end, I would like to have a domain up there so that we can authenticate there in case we're down here.
that.
But to get us for the class working, I'm okay if I understand it correctly that we'll give them some link and they'll log in using their SCO credentials. It will authenticate them and they'll be presented with a desktop screen that has a CompuLink on it. They'll click the CompuLink icon and then enter whatever CompuLink credentials you provide for them to get into that sandbox CompuLink. The only, I guess, fault there is somebody wanted to sabotage, they would have access to File Explorer and could go in and delete CompuLink.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, and the other is that I'd rather teach them on something they're using now in the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the experience would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, so here's the comparison. What they've done in the past, they've had to go to Moodle and open up a PDF and enter the stuff in there. So this is much closer to CompuLink than that. So I'm okay with the experience being that different, where that automatically brings up the CompuLink screen versus clicking on an icon on the desktop. You can just say, well, this is how you do this test one, and move on.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on if you're going to do a domain anyway up there.
Yeah, that was a new wrinkle.
Yeah.
Wasn't planning on that.
Well, we've always, we even had it on our slides to get a domain in Azure so that if we're ever down here, we can operate.
Yeah.
Right. What? Okay.
So at some point
So what would we need to operate?
I don't know,
Down
CompuLink, but
I mean,
of course when we originally did that, we had a lot of things that were here.
right, but that was because the whole thing about putting a domain controller in Azure was so that we could authenticate outside stuff.
Yeah,
If
like
we were
Moodle,
here. And
Samsoft,
all of that has changed
to Azure.
to Azure. So I had taken
it's not as important anymore.
Yeah, I had taken that off my list.
Yeah. So I guess if you really think about it, we don't really authenticate anything outside of here to here much anymore.
No.
We still have a couple of LDAP, you have something in the library.
We got the LDAP things that my plan is to get that off campus by November.
Okay, so
And-
we don't need a domain there, I don't think so. Can we just do this and make this easy?
Yeah, it's a whole lot less secure though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, but it's just play data. It's not real.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I'm okay with is that server up there is not tied to anything. It's not, if they get into it, I don't care.
Well, that's what I would say too, but if they were somehow able to get passwords over that, they would work here as well, right?
Well, but there's no passwords on it because they log in on Azure. Well, and I guess the CompuLink passwords are on it. I guess maybe you shouldn't make the CompuLink passwords that they're the same as they are here.
They log in with their domain credentials, right?
Right, but they authenticate to Azure, and then Azure authenticates them and says, yeah, this guy has access to this, so it gives them access to that resource. they don't, you know, I don't know. It's conceivable that there are credentials on there. They're protected. I mean, logging in is still protected by two-factor and stuff, so.
What
you
could
know,
it possibly be on there? It's just an empty machine, isn't it?
well, he's talking about their cached credentials. You know, if I log in on a machine, my credentials, my password is cached on that machine. If I physically go in the LRC and log in, there's a profile and has a hash in there.
Right,
and my
but we have that in the
password.
LRC, don't we?
Huh?
It's no different than walking in the LRC and logging in.
That's correct. It's no different than walking in the
Yeah.
LRC. Other than you can get to it from anywhere in the world, and so you don't have to physically be there.
Oh.
But it's protected by two-factor authentication. So,
Yeah.
well, no,
It's
it's
not.
not protected
Right.
because we have to exclude that
Yeah.
to let them use their credentials. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you know, Mark, I guess it is less secure, but again, I get back to the thing of, you know, if the CompuLink passwords are not the same, you know, even if somebody did get a campus password off of it, it still wouldn't work on campus without two-factor, or anywhere else in the world except the only thing that's turned off on our two-factor is accessing that server.
Yeah.
And I still got to follow up. I got a two-factor prompt this morning on campus, so that's on my list to do today is open a support case with Azure and get them to track down why we got that when we should be in a named site. So anyway, just you know, it's just
But that's not completely working yet where we can test it, is it? Because we still have problems with two-factor here.
well, that's what I'm saying is the two-factor with us with the named site. It should not be prompting us, but it prompted Mark this morning. It prompted me this morning.
Yeah.
So that's something to be worked out, but you know.
Okay.
I don't know, I'll think about it, maybe test it.
Can you send it? How do we get to it?
I don't have CompuLink installed on there yet, so.
Okay.
And
All right.
there's that, Mark, you saw that link I sent you with the workaround to install it without the domain?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess if you wanted to set it up like that and see if it works, and then if it does work, send Dean a link and me a link, and we'll see if that experience is.
The other question is how can I upload files to it? I don't think drag and drop's gonna work, or copy and paste would work.
It should.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a remote desktop session to it, you're an administrator, it should work just like any other remote desktop session.
Okay.
You may have to hit the advanced button and say, leave locally connected drive. I think by default it does. You know, when you establish your RDP session,
Yeah.
you hit the advanced, you can say,
Oh, right, yeah.
keep your maps drives, you know, that thing. All right, let us know when you get installed.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Are we having a meeting today?
No, I forgot about it. I got to get it on my repeat calendar.
Yeah. You got 6 minutes to figure it out.
Was it 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
All right, I'll send out a note. Bye. Too busy to meet today. Actually got work to do. Yeah,